The top stories. PM says no reshuffle is on the way. BUT no closer to industrial action. And the West Indies are humiliated again. Welcome to Nation News for Barbados Day, Wednesday, January the 21st, 2015.
No matter where you are in the world, at home or abroad, Nation News keeps you connected with what's happening in Barbados through our website, video newscast, and online e-papers. So stay connected with Nation News. Your news, your time, your way.
Speculation about a cabinet reshuffle has been knocked down by the Prime Minister. Speaking after a function in St. John, Frondel Stewart said the public will be told when he's ready to restructure his administration.
When the time comes and I think it expedient or necessary to restructure the government of Barbados, I will do so. Ministers are carrying out their responsibilities, and if at any stage I determine that I think that the relationship between a particular minister's attitudes and a job that I want done can best be done by asking that minister to function somewhere else, I will do that. But it is not an issue. I have not made any public statement anywhere that there's going to be any cabinet reshuffles, and I don't allow people to create issues for me. The government is doing its work, and if the stage is reached where I have to restructure the government, I will do so. I don't have to seek the permission of anybody to do it. I will do so, and the public will be appropriately informed.
Mr. Stewart was also asked to comment on the effects on the governing DLP of the court order against House Speaker Michael Carrington in his private legal practice. The PM said the case was unlikely to adversely affect the party.
I do not know that this can have any adverse effect on the Democratic Labour Party. We are in a process, and once that process is completed, the matter dies. That's the nature of litigation. I mean, this is something that litigants pass through all the time, that attorneys at law get themselves involved in all the time. It just happens that the attorney at law on this occasion is the Speaker of the House of Assembly, and therefore has been given more prominence than it would have been given if he had not been Speaker of the House of Assembly. Had he been, as I said yesterday in the House, had he been a doctor, doctors have differences with their patients. Patients put doctors in court. Had he been a doctor and Speaker of the House of Assembly, I suppose it would have been given the same prominence, because he is in politics and political battles are fought in that way. But I do not think that once these issues have been resolved, that there are going to be any adverse implications for the Democratic Labour Party. And I can assure you, based on all the information available to me, that the outstanding issues are going to be properly resolved.
A monument has been unveiled at Kendall Plantation in St. John in memory of Yariko, an Amerindian woman who was sold into slavery in Barbados during the 17th century by Incle, the man she loved. A story that, it is claimed, fired the world's imagination and contributed to the social movement against the slave trade. The story, which was first recorded in 1657 and then resurrected in Barbados by John Kidd during the 1997 Holders season, has now been developed into a musical. Speaking during the monument's unveiling ceremony this Barbados Day, Mr. Kidd's son Jack explained the historical importance of the story.
Incle and Yariko is a true love story. In the 1700s, it was the leading play in Europe, in England. They made operas, they made theatre, they wrote books about it. It was in children's alphabet learning books, it was painted on pottery. Incle and Yariko was such an important production during that time. And then towards the end, it became a leading motivator in the abolition of slavery. It was used by the people to try and tell the world of the horrors of slavery and how bad it was. And it's really, really, really important. And bringing the story back to Barbados and back to Kendal, back to the pond where Yariko used to work, is unbelievable history, and I'm so happy that everyone's here to be here for this. This should not just be a national heritage site, but this really should be a world heritage site. They have a very similar thing for Pocahontas in America, but Inklin Yariko is more of a real story, and it's here in Barbados. And I think this is going to be the start of something absolutely brilliant for Barbados, and it's so good to be part of the family that is bringing it back to Barbados.
Minister of Culture Stephen Lashley said the monument could bring more visitors to Barbados.
As you may be aware, culture is one of the identified pillars on which the modern Barbados economy is being constructed. The presence of monuments such as the one celebrated this morning adds to the attractiveness of the Barbados heritage story and entices visitors in that market segment to our shores. Our tourism product becomes diversified, and Barbados as a mature tourist destination is indeed refreshed. It is therefore not expecting too much if we project increased tourist arrivals from the United Kingdom during the next winter season, if not before, as a direct response to the staging of the Yariko, the musical, on the London stage in February-March of 2015.
The Barbados Union of Teachers appears to have put the brakes on industrial action for now. Instead, following a near 5-hour meeting of the union's executive on Tuesday evening, a decision was taken to hold a joint meeting next week with restive teachers at 2 schools, Parkinson Memorial and Alma Paris, to determine a course of action. The BUT had given the Ministry of Education an ultimatum to sort out the problems teachers are having with principals at the 2 schools. President Pedro Shepherd said the BUT had heard from both the Ministry and the Personnel Administration Division, which had also been given a deadline on teacher appointments. The Jamaican woman who was the subject of a police wanted notice will appear in court on Thursday after surrendering to police. 25-year-old Kerryon Kelly is now facing the charge of serious bodily harm stemming from an incident which allegedly occurred on January the 8th. We have news now of a charitable donation by the women of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. They've given $2,000 worth of food and toiletries to the Business and Professional Women's Club, specifically the Shelter for Battered Women. Club spokesperson Mary Thompson said the church has a role to play in addressing many of the ills in society, including domestic violence.
We don't see the value of church in our society today. When things go wrong, we hear what is the church doing, but if you were to do a survey, and it has been done, it shows that a large percentage of our young people are not active in church. Parents are no longer sending children into Sunday school, so the good values that were inculcated at that young age is not there. And it doesn't only speak to violence, it speaks to a number of things across society.
Not only.
In sport, South Africa have completed a 9-wicket victory over a hapless West Indies in their 3rd one-day international and secured an unassailable 3-0 lead in the 5-match series. West Indies never really got going and were bowled out for 122 and 33.4 overs. Hashim Amla and Faf du Plessis then hit unbeaten half-centuries to take South Africa to victory inside 25 overs at Buffalo Park. The next match, in case you're interested, will be played on a Sunday, and skipper Jason Holder says the West Indies are likely to make some changes to the team.
Well, obviously there are a few guys who haven't played. Maybe they may come in the forefront to try different combinations. Obviously it's a serious loss, and we obviously need to salvage some pride. But having said that, we're still bidding towards the World Cup, so it's just about getting some combinations right, hoping that our batsmen could get some form going into the World Cup and just finish off these last 2 games well. And
finally, it's said that Bajan men love their women with plenty hips. Well, here's a reason why that might not be a bad idea. According to a new study, women with big backsides are likely to produce more intelligent children. That's because fat, scientists say, found in their thighs and bottoms are needed to develop babies. They claim that these fat reservoirs play a vital role in fueling the development of newborn brains during breastfeeding, with the woman's behind acting as a reserve for vital nutrients. And that's Nation News for Wednesday. For more, log on to nationnews.com, as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Pick up your Daily Nation on Thursday or subscribe to our e-paper.